G'day guys, welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. The Core 4 is back here for another AFL preview, and this is our last team that we're previewing before we get to the top 8. So if you've clicked on this video, you already know who it is, but we think that Essendon is going to be our 9th ranked team for 2022, and Stephen, that means that the run of 17 years of no finals wins for the Bombers is going to continue, in our opinion.
Yeah, I'm the only person out of the 4 of us that had them in the 8 and playing finals. I suppose.
But would you have had them winning a final?
Oh, may as well. Chuck them in there. Get the like, get that drought. Get it going. Get it out so no one can take the piss anymore. So, I mean, you clearly hate them. So.
No, we don't hate them. We don't.
Oh, no.
We've got a couple of Essendon fans that are subscribers to the channel. I know JTF Edits commented on one of our videos before and was very keen to see our Essendon preview. So I'm sure he's very upset at the moment by our ranking. But there is good things to talk about with Essendon, Taylor. They've got a good list and they've got a really good midfield.
The midfield, yeah, one of the best midfield brigades in the league for mine. I think they bat really deep through there. You Zach Merritt, your Darcy Parish. Yeah, Langford moves in there. Stringer is that forward, mid, got that mix. It's not really defined what mix it is, but he was spending a lot more towards the back end of the season in the guts. Jai Caldwell.
And he's looking shredded as well, Jack Stringer. So just on that, I think he's dropped 7 kilos and is just looking like the real package that BT, the actual BT, Brian Taylor, really was a fan of back in the Bulldogs days. So he, as long as he can start the season, because I know he's got a bit of a groin issue at the moment, but the package could be, in for a big 22.
I don't think it matters how shredded he looks. It doesn't make up for those hideous tattoos he has, though. They're horrendous.
That's a fair call. Would you say, so little sidebar, on AFL tattoos, is Stringer the worst? Is there anyone up there that rivals
Josh
Stringer?
Bruce.
Yeah.
He has some awful tattoos.
What has he got?
He's just, there's little weird ones that he's got all over his body, and I don't know what they are, but they're just...
Oh, Liver has some weird ones as well, doesn't he?
I was going to comment on Liver.
Got,
Those tattoos of the Simpsons look like they were drawn by a 3-year-old.
I like him. I like his tattoos. I reckon, I don't know, they're a little more creative. I don't know what Josh Bruce is. I don't know what he's got going there. They just look like someone's just drawn them on.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Poor form. And given the footy players are showing a bit of skin, you've got to think about what the public is going to think your tattoos are, right? So this is a public service announcement to all AFL players. Think before you do it, all right? Just think it through, okay? Now, so we've spoken about the package. We've spoken about the Bombers midfield. Why do we have reason to doubt the Bombers this year? What's going to be the problem? What's going to cause their downfall and make them miss out on the finals, Taylor?
For me, it's their forward line. I like Harry Jones, but he's not quite there yet. It was his first year last year, I'm pretty sure. Rookie year
showed some good promise. He looks like one for the future.
He did. And 2-meter Peter down there as well. He's serviceable, I suppose. Like, I like Essendon. I had the lowest ranking out of all of us. It pains me to say it because I like Essendon, but their forward line for me. I don't know about their key positions, especially with Hooker retiring at the end of last year. I don't know where they go to there because he was like a Mr. Fix-It for him, really. Could drift back, could drift forward, and would always pinch hit with a few goals. So they're really going to struggle. They got the Smalls, they got Stringer, they've got
Devin got good
Smith.
Smalls. They've got really good Smalls in the forward line. Snelling as well is another one that he's up there for the forwards. I think you're right. I think it's their key position players up forward that aren't proven, and also down back. I mean, is Hurley going to play this year? I mean, missed all of last year. He's probably really crucial to stabilising them down back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's that crucial because I think the emergence of Laverde and James Stewart last year, I think it's probably created. Uh, he's not a necessity down back anymore. He's more of a luxury. I mean, yeah, he's getting on, but he's still a great player. But I mean, is it time for Essendon to move on? He's in that kind of the Cale Hooker bracket where they probably need to be looking past Hurley. And they've got two guys. I mean, Laverde was a forward who's been converted to more of a backman and doing a good job of it. Yeah, I don't really see much of a place for Hurley, especially with Essendon moving on with the younger list.
Yeah, interesting call on Hurley. Other injury question marks as well. So McDonald, Tip and Woody, at the time of recording this, is back at the club now, had some personal issues and he had an extended period away. I think he's also got a calf issue as well. So he's in doubt to start the season. Steve, do you think that's going to be a big blow for the Bombers at the start of the year with him not being there?
Yeah, he's probably the most exciting player to watch on their side for me. He's probably one of the favourites in the AFL in terms of just. I think everyone loves him really.
He's the barometer, isn't he?
Yeah, you'll struggle to find someone that isn't a fan of Tip and Woody and the way he goes about his business. So he's a really exciting player. So without him, not only did they become a little less interesting to watch, but they would probably struggle a little bit more without him.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the small forward depth, but he certainly brings something completely different to that forward line that is really hard to replace. So, Taylor, all Australian chances for the Bombers this year. We like to do this with all of our teams that we're previewing for the 22 season. Who have you got as a good all Australian chance for the Bombers?
On the back of last year, the Bombers did have two in the actual squad. They had Zach Merritt parked on a wing, strangely enough, but we all know all Australians never reflect their true positions.
Yeah, don't like that. Don't like that at all.
No.
Play the list. Name the team as it should be played. I mean, where's the respect for wingers? Where's the respect for half-forward flankers, taggers, second ruckman? Like, what's going on? Come on.
It's an absolute monstrosity how they do it every year, and these poor guys like McCluggage, Seedsman just get screwed. I mean, they were probably the two wingmen for me last year, and they got absolutely screwed.
Yep.
Yeah. Parrish is another one for me. I mean, he obviously was All-Australian last year on the interchange. Had a blinder of a season as soon as he was taken out of that forward line due to injuries, pretty much. But if I had to look for someone else, not out of those, not from those two players, I'd probably be looking at Jordan Ridley. I think he's going to have to really take the reins there. Obviously, no Hurley again, or it may not be again. The real strong intercept mark. He can be a lockdown. He's a real utility down there.
Jordan Ridley is a really interesting player just to try and judge this year because his 2020 season was terrific. Best and fairest, real breakout season for him. 2021, as a person that owned Jordan Ridley in their AFL fantasy team, I can tell you he was all over the place. I mean, he just didn't have that consistent run of footy last year, wasn't making the same impact. I don't know if there was a slight role change there or if he was being asked to play a bit more lockdown than he typically had been as that intercepting defender. So, really interesting to see how we'll go this year, Taylor.
Yeah, I think he was quite good, I think, to about round 9, round 10. Don't quote me on the round. But he did suffer that concussion. And I have a feeling that may have really derailed his season. And he did come. He was taking a lot of kick-outs. He was sort of the marshal back there. Really sat behind the play and dictated how that Essendon defence moved. And he did become more of a lockdown as I think Heppel went back and took that role. And he really never got that role back. So from a fantasy point of view, that's where he really crumbled. But I think he'll be back to 2020, Ridley. Heppel obviously will probably need to sit back more the older he gets. He's not old, but yeah, there's younger guys in that midfield that need to be there. So Heppel's going to join him around that halfback line. But yeah, he'd be my All Aussie pick.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm not going to touch him in my AFL fantasy team. I've just been burned, so it's a no from me. But you got a breakout player for us for Essendon this year?
Yeah, coming back to that midfield brigade, Jai Caldwell for me. He was brought there.
Love this.
He wasn't getting the chances at the Giants. He's an out and out on baller, and Essendon put their hands up and said, "Come on, mate, we'll give you the keys." He hasn't quite got the keys, but I think he will be given a lot of opportunity for the midfield. And if the track watchers are anything, if they're to be trusted, it looks like he's taken the opportunity with both hands. I think he played 40 minutes in a game, in a match sim. He had, I think it was 15 disposals, bunch of clearances, a goal.
He's trying to
absolutely, yeah, burning up the track.
There he is.
Burning up the track, mate. Just absolutely dominating.
Because Caldwell was going to have a good crack at it last year, but he had that early injury in round 1 or 2, and that just completely
I think it was round
shot
3.
his season to bits.
Yeah, he had a couple of good games, and then it was quite a good game too. Good couple of games that he put together. It really looked like he was going to get that chance, and kind of just cruelly snatched from him in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the last major segment we like to do on these AFL season previews is a player that is under the pump, a make or break season. Who have you got for us, Taylor?
I've got 2, but one I'd like to touch on first is another an ex-Giant, in the form of Devon Smith. It was a few years ago. He was kicking goals, just racking up posies, absolutely dominating in that Essendon midfield. And he finds himself pushed out to a half forward pocket nowadays, and he just doesn't have the effect that he used to. And maybe that's where they find him best. His on-ball talents may not be as great as some of the guys that they've got sitting in there, because we have talked about their midfield strength. But for me, his product isn't enough, and I can't see him being traded, or he could be dropped. There's guys in that team, waiting on the outside of that team who could come in, but he's a long way from his best.
Yeah, I think he had a year back then where, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he was a real pressure forward, and he had it was almost like a record-breaking season for tackles. I might be wrong in saying that, but
it was the tackles,
he really crafted a role there. You'd almost like to see him, if he's not going to get that midfield rotation with how deep their midfield is, he's almost got to get back to that, doesn't he?
He's got to get back to goal kicking as well, and the tackles. He's not kicking scores. He just seems to be that pressure forward without the end product. What I was touching on before, I think pressure's great, but at some point you need to be hitting the board with the scoring.
Yeah. And you said you had a second under the pump player as well?
Yeah, it's probably harsh. Dylan Shield, another Giant. It's a common thing.
I can't get enough.
I only just put that together, really. He was recruited. I think it cost him 2 first-round picks from memory. 2 first rounders.
Was Caldwell part of that?
No, Caldwell only come, I think, recently. Yeah. He come 2021. So yeah, last season was his first season with the Bombers. But yeah, Shield, he's meant to be that real line breaking, running midfielder, that gut busting, clearance player, I suppose, who's meant to break out of the packs. And we just haven't seen due to injuries as well, we just haven't seen enough of it from him. And I mean, these young forwards are really going to need someone to give them a clear footy. And I mean, if Shield's not there, I mean, Zach Merritt, we all know he's got a beautiful boot on him. But we're going to need Essendon are going to need other guys to really step up. And from all accounts, Shields, I think, just had another injury as well.
Yeah.
I think
It's tough.
he should be ready to go round one, but yeah, it doesn't bode well for him.
And he's not part of their first choice midfield now. I mean, you'd have to say it's Merritt, it's Parrish, even
McGrath.
Stringer running through there is going to get McGrath. So he's not part of the main rotation.
No.
And I guess on that midfield as well, it'd be remiss not to talk about Big Sam Draper. Had a bit of a breakout year last year. I mean, does he go to another level this year?
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, he's got Andrew Phillip on backing him up, so I think Essendon need him to go to that next level. He looked really good towards the end of the season. I know the Dons, they got smashed by the Dogs in that losing final, but I thought they could break the drought, still didn't. But yeah, no, he had a really good game by his standards. And I think he can take it to a new level this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Agree with what you said there. BT, last call from you. It's become a little bit of a tradition on our AFL season preview videos.
This will be good.
So I think there is more chance that Novak Djokovic gets his vaccine than Essendon winning a final game.
That's a sound bite. That's going straight on the Facebook right there. Another one for the Facebook as well. If you are a big fan of talking about Essendon and their finals drought, a bit of a plug to Useless AFL Stats. They are a terrific Facebook page that you should definitely check out. I think for the past week and a half, they've just been posting random facts about, things that haven't happened or things that have happened since Essendon's last finals victory. So not that that's all that they talk about, but yeah, I'd definitely check them out. They're pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one of them is Nadal's won 21 Grand Slams since they've won a final.
Goodness me. Steve, what were you doing in 2004, mate?
Oh my God. I can't even remember. Probably running around out the front of my house with a mate playing something imaginary from what I don't know.
Probably running
Oh,
around
goodness.
with a Tamagotchi in my hand, I reckon.
A
Feels like that
Tamagotchi?
long ago.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
I love it. There we
It feels
go.
like that long ago.
Essendon fans, we want to hear from you in the comments. Let us know if you disagree with our opinion, if you think that they're going to make finals. More importantly, let us know what you were doing in 2004. We're really keen to hear that in the comments below. Like I said, we're doing these AFL season preview videos for every team all the way through until round one. We're through with the teams that didn't make the finals now, in our opinion. So if you haven't seen your team yet, then you're in luck, because we think they're going to make finals and you're going to have a pretty enjoyable September. Either way, make sure you're subscribed. Stay tuned to get all the latest updates from Stat Chat Sports. We'll bring you not just footy content, but, soccer, general sports, NFL's been and gone. Whatever you want, you're going to find it here at Stat Chat Sports. So make sure you subscribe and check us out on all our social media platforms. Cheers, guys. Thanks for the Stat Chat once again. See you next time.